sites. We had over 100 applications, 8 were selected for a pitch day, and 3 have entered discussions with Alice Dom operating teams to plan a pilot. Concerning Barton Mallow, the challenges areas were far more specific. They needed solutions that help automate labor-intensive processes. So we have identified around 30 solutions, of which 25 applied to the program, and we planned last year to pitch day with 8 solutions so that they could incorporate these technologies through pilot programs, improving efficiency and costs on Barton Mallow job sites. The idea is that Impulse help their clients and partners to tailor to all scopes of problems, no matter how narrow or wide, understanding the opportunities, then capitalizing on solutions in a structured and measured approach. As of today, we have identified and qualified over 3,000 startups. We have helped collaborations between 200 startups and corporates or investors that have also had the opportunity to invest and been talking to some innovative solutions. We have also been supporting numerous entrepreneurship projects in France, but also abroad. So basically, this was just an overview of our activity, but if you are interested, as always, in learning more about what we do, please do not hesitate to reach out to our international team at Impulse. Well, coming up today, first, we are very happy to hear a presentation from Jorge Gomez, manager at CRH Ventures. It will be followed by Ilmar Norvik, corporate strategy and M&A leader Europe at Owens Corning. Then we are very happy to welcome 4 startups who will be presenting their solutions. We'll have Petri for the CEO of Solta Power, then Lucas from Ecorbio will be presenting his startup. We'll hear from Buntong An, head of business development for Hydroleap, and finally Linus Wahum, the CEO of ManPro, will be presenting the startup that he has created. At the end of each presentation, you will have the opportunity to ask some questions, so don't hesitate to type them down on the chat or directly activate your microphones. I do invite you to all mute your microphones during the presentations of others and only activate them when you have some questions. All right. So without further ado, I'm very glad to welcome Jorge, manager at CRH Ventures. Hi, Jorge. I'll let you share your screen.
Yep. Thanks. Thank you, Snap. And thank you everyone for joining this program. I see that no one is putting the camera on. Hopefully you guys are there.
Yeah, there are some people with their cameras.
Okay. I just see a few faces, but yeah, nice to meet you all. I'm Jorge Gomez with CRH Ventures. I'm based in Madrid, Spain. Been with CRH for about a year now. Been running this Roads of the Future Accelerator program with Impulse. Cineb has been very involved, and they've helped us a lot on running this program. Not only this one, but also the previous one we did last year, which was in water. So I'll present on what we did, and also like on this program we actually run it with several partners. So we're always looking for partners to run this type of programs. Happy to join any other similar programs as well. Give me 1 second. So I'm gonna be sharing my screen. So just before we start with the program, I just wanna summarize what we do at CRH, because some of you may not be familiar with it. So CRH is the leader building material company today in I would say North America and Europe. Last year we did 35 billion in revenues, more than 78,000 employees, more than 3,000 locations. And you may not be familiar with CRH because we never operate under the CRH brand. It's always under one of our operating companies. We have at this point about 300 operating companies across North America and Europe and Australia. And one of the main topics that we cover is asphalt production and road construction. And that's why we decided to launch this accelerator program. Here, feel free to cut me off and ask any questions as we go, or you can wait till the end, but feel free to interrupt me. So What do we do with these accelerator programs? At the end, we have three main objectives. The first one is just getting a mapping of all the innovative technologies and trends that we can use, no, across the different businesses. At the end, CRH is a very diversified company. We do starting from aggregate extraction, cement production. We have ready mix, we have asphalt, we have a lot of prefabricated business. We actually do construction in some of the US states. No, so we want to map all those technologies that apply to our businesses and be able to provide our business with different technologies. The second one is piloting and testing those startups. No, at the end, we use this as an external innovation tool, so we can provide the startups the resources that they need to pilot their technologies. In fact, what the prices for the startups that win the accelerator is a pilot with a CRH. We cover the entire cost of the pilot, and that way we engage the startups with our businesses. And then lastly, the third point will be commercial agreements or potential investment in some of these startups. We haven't done any yet investment. We've done some commercial agreements with several startups that were in previous accelerators. So in case the pilot works out fine, we try to roll it up to the rest of the operating companies from CRH. Why did we focus on roads? At the end, CRH, it's actually the largest road builder in North America with 63 million tons of asphalt laid down last year, more than 25,000 people dedicated to roads. And starting from the aggregate extraction, asphalt production, construction services, we actually do also a lot of utility construction. So this was a hot topic within our businesses, and we were asked to focus on roads on this accelerator, and that's what we did. Now, in terms of the accelerator program and what we did, we started at the beginning of this year, launched the call for startups in February, used different types of media through LinkedIn, a lot of through our partners, and also internally. Then we left the application open for about 2 months. This time we received 150 applications in different categories. We closed the application end of March and then spent a couple of weeks reviewing all the applications, actually interviewing the top selected candidates. And by end of May, we decided on the 8 startups that we will be inviting to the pitch day event. The pitch day event, we hosted it in Austin, in Texas, and it was a 2-day event in which we used the first day just to settle the bases. We had a guest speaker. We did a site visit to one of our asphalt plants and bitumen terminals, and we actually tried to bring a lot of people from our business. At the end, we're a corporate venture capital, so we try to always be close to the business. Out of the 80 attendees to the event, I would say 50 were from the different businesses from CRH. We actually brought our president from CRH Americas, the chief of strategy, and then most of the general managers of the different CRH companies. To this event, we also invited some value chain partners across the value chain. So you see them on the left-hand side, Arup, Ferrovial, and Aegis. At the end, CRH is a building material provider. So we try to have the point of view of the different stakeholders across the value chain, at the engineering and design, like Arup, Ferrovial. I see some of you guys are here. So Luis was involved on this, gave us a good point of view under a construction and asset manager company, and then Aegis as well. It's a road operator across the North America and Europe. So bringing their view to select the startups, to evaluate the startup was very helpful for us. Then we also invited some public institutions. You see them on the right-hand side. Also in academics, no, because at the end they have a good reach to the startups, and it's always good also to partner with them for potential applications for these startups. So with this, we got about 80 plus attendees to the event. 80 startups came to the event, more than 10 partners, and we brought more than 15 different businesses from CRH. Brought a guest speaker, and then we did a panel also with Aru Ferrovial and Aegis, talk about the future of roads, what was more important on this. And then we actually did a site visit to our Texas material. Now, this happened in June. Now we're kicking off the pilots this month with six out of these eight startups that presented. They were actually selected by our selection committee, which was composed mostly by CRH representatives. So in this accelerator, there were mainly three verticals that we cover, and within these three verticals, the most common topics that were addressed by the startups on smart roads. And I'm not sure how many of you guys are involved in road building, but what we saw is the top challenges were, the first one is the lack of data for road condition and monitoring and maintenance. We actually received a lot of applications that were gathering data and transforming these insights into actions. Then the switching to electric vehicles and autonomous solutions. A lot of applications on creating roads that were able to charge vehicles or to provide autonomy to vehicles running on them. And then some others on data treatment and traffic management. Then on green and resilient roads, this was a vertical that we created more for the actual materials. So reducing CO2, increasing circularity, especially in asphalt, similar to concrete, cement, it's related to bitumen, and reducing bitumen using biochar and other type of more sustainable products to replace bitumen. We saw quite a few solutions on that. And then on the high energy consumption processes, similar to cement plants, asphalt plants are high consumers. They burn a lot of fuel. So we got several solutions to reduce this consumption. And then lastly, on productivity and road construction, which was our latest vertical, we saw a lot of applications trying to gather information that is not visible. So, for example, scanning technologies for utilities, for concrete, for many other applications, asphalt thicknesses, subsurface conditions. Then we saw some other applications on process and scheduling inefficiencies using artificial intelligence to optimize the schedule, to optimize processes. And then lastly, on lack of labor, no, a lot of technologies on autonomous equipment. These are the, I mean, I won't get too much in detail, but these are the eight startups that actually attended to the event. We actually got a good mix of the three different verticals, countries. In our case, half of them were from Europe and the UK, and the other half were from the US. It was good to have everyone there in Austin, because we all actually had some dinners, lunch. So we got to meet all these guys really closely, and get to know them better. At the end, helps also for the businesses to feel more comfortable on using their solutions, on piloting these technologies. And I think at the end, when we finish this program, we talked to our different businesses, and everyone was very happy to bring everyone on board, especially the startups, because they're able to meet the guys, feel closer, and now, which it's the time for the businesses not to pilot these technologies. Everyone is being very helpful on kicking off the pilots, and everyone has shown their support on this. So that's it. We're at the stage now where we're kicking off pilots. Happy to answer any questions. I mean, throughout the process, I know Impulse has been helping us from the beginning. So thanks, Sineb, Alice, and the rest of the team, setting up the program, reaching out to the startups. We got a lot of startups applying through your network. Then also preparing for the event. At the end, organizing an event with 100 people, it's always complicated now, especially if you organize it in Texas, where from CRH Ventures we did not have anyone there. It was kind of complicated, but everyone turned up right.
Thanks a lot, Jorge, and congrats
Yeah.
again, because I think, yeah, this program was a real success. We had so many good impressions from the startups. We're really happy to meet everyone from CRH and the partners. I see, like you said, Luis is here from Ferrovial, so congrats again. I think we have a question from Frank, right? From Europa.
Yes.
Yep.
Hi.
Jorge, thanks for the presentation. So my name is Frank Maumer from the European Innovation Council. I just saw that Kraftblok was one of the companies, and they are part of our portfolio as well. I'm just curious, what is the connection between heat storage and road building in application?
Yeah, so we're actually considering using them for asphalt plants. It's when we define the category for road building, we do a lot of asphalt production, and for us to be able to decarbonize asphalt plants, remove the fuel from the burners, from the we also bitumen at the asphalt plant has to be stored hot. So
yeah, okay.
We're considering them. This is
that was very clear. No, I was thinking
yeah.
in the application, but you are looking into production. Yeah,
Yeah,
of course,
we're looking at
Thanks.
asphalt plants. Yeah, same
That's
as cement plants. We're looking at decarbonizing cement plants also with this type of technology.
Yeah, no, great company. Good choice.
Yeah.
Thanks. Does anyone have any questions? You'll have Jorge contact if you want to reach out, start some discussions, of course. Hi, Ilmar.
Hello. Hey, Jorge. Nice to see you.
Hi. Nice to see you.
So, question on the operating company side. So with, you said 15 of them, so sounds like you also have a bit of an internal selling job to get them interested. So can you say a few words about, is 15 what you expected? Did they come along with this as well as you wanted or envisioned, or how does that look for you?
Yeah, at the end, one of the challenges for us was on the previous accelerator was to kick off the pilots, because at the end is the internal companies, the ones that have to run these pilots. So on this one, we wanted to have them close to the accelerator from the beginning. We invited them to participate on the review, and then to some of them, they were part of the selection committee. So the startups that got selected, they got selected by them. And now we're kicking off pilots with them. So having them close to the full process is helping us now a lot to engage with the startups, because they feel that it's their selection. No, we our previous accelerator that we ran from ventures, we were the ones choosing the startups, and then it's when you have to sell it to the businesses, and sometimes they feel a little bit reluctant to pilot the technologies. But when they are the ones choosing the startups, it's easier then to kick off the pilots with them. So their main labor, also in our case, some of those companies don't know each other. So it was a good event to get to know each other, and and put faces, not to some emails that you normally see from some of your peers. And so I think being involved on that, and us being a corporate venture capital, being too close to the business is the best thing that we could do on this accelerator. So for us, it was a success because the operating companies were very engaged on the program.
Brilliant.
Thanks. Does anyone have any other questions before we move on to Ilmar's presentation? Well, thanks again, Jorge. And we'll see you this afternoon for the North America and Europe session. Congrats again, and hopefully there will be so many projects with the selected startups. Well, I'm very happy to introduce you to Ilmar Norvik, Corporate Strategy and M&A Leader Europe at Owens Corning. Hi, Ilmar, and thanks again for being here. I will let you share your screen.
Will do. And thank you for having me. Thanks for the invite. It's always interesting and productive, and also fun to be part of what Impulse Partners does. Same goes for CRH. We see them a lot in the ecosystem, both in the US and Europe. I think very highly of what they're up to and how they work with startups. So in good company following Jorge here. But different from CRH, we have not yet done an accelerator or a formal partnership with Impulse. Our cooperating generation's been more informal. So I will not be talking about a program, but what the team asked me to do is introduce Owens Corning and how we work with early stage companies, specifically with investments. So that's I have a few slides to help tell the story. But first things first, I'll introduce myself. So Elmar Norvik, I'm based in Tallinn, Estonia, and part of the corporate strategy team with both investment and in Europe also M&A responsibilities. Roughly 3 years ago, I became employee number one for the venture investments unit. That's also the start of the journey for us. So I'll touch on kind of the reasons or what brought us into becoming a corporate investor and how far we've made it in the last 3 years. Recently made the move to Estonia to be in Europe and work with our businesses here. I spent the last 7 years at our global headquarters in Toledo, Ohio. So let's start with just an overview of what we do. Some similarities with CRH. Also, you'll see a lot of building materials. Our worlds come together in the middle, but also some differences. We touch different parts of construction and different parts of building. You'll see it's much more residential and commercial, and lighter on the industrial and heavy construction side. And so we actually now have 4 units because we closed a large acquisition less than 2 months ago. But on my slide, you can see 3 of them. And these are roofing, insulation, and composites, which composites is a kind of code word for glass fiber composites. So glass as a reinforcement and glass non-wovens. Roofing is where CRH and our worlds come together. That's primarily a asphalt shingle roofing enterprise that's very US and North America heavy. It's a very stable market, highly profitable, and we operate a network of asphalt plants or bitumen processing plants where we oxidize asphalt into building materials. Insulation is roughly same size, also about 4 billion in top line revenue. I know the theme for the session is energy and clean tech, so there's a nice fit there in terms of insulation. At one of the primary functions it serves is energy efficiency, and along with other attributes. That's a more global business. We have a couple businesses in Europe, cellular glass and stone wool, mostly in the Nordics, Central and Western Europe. Composites is a little bit more difficult to explain since it's just a broad range of applications from renewable energy, wind blades, to automotive, to what the pink rebar you see on the right, the photo on the far right, that ends up in concrete as a reinforcement. In terms of scale, with the addition of our 4th business, which is the leading doors business in the US that I mentioned earlier, recently closed, that added 3 billion to the top line and roughly 10,000 new friends and colleagues joining Owens Corning very soon. So after that, we'll be roughly a $13 billion enterprise. And the shift that will come with that acquisition, it'll make us even more North America heavy and a bit more residential. But even with that, I think Europe as well as Asia will still have a very important role in what Owens Corning does, and also to innovation and investments, especially in sustainability and coupled themes that I'll call out on the next slide. And also what I wanted to share is that kind of this portfolio of businesses and what we do is the culmination of 85 years of history. And just this summer, we celebrated being named to the Fortune 500 for 70th consecutive year. So we have been part of the Fortune 500 list since year one, since its creation. And if you think about it, that's the life expectancy of being on those types of lists, whether it's S&P 500 or Fortune 500, is pretty short, and there's been a lot of turnover. So to be on it from the very beginning for 7 decades, it takes some staying power, and clearly it takes innovation. So what Owens Corning has had to do pretty much over its entire existence is come up with products and make good strategy choices and be in businesses that are relevant and and it's clear that we will have to keep doing that. So my point is it's clear that we need to innovate. So the only question left is how will we do that? And kind of like most other or any company, we have a history of R&D, or science and technology, as we call it, of coming up with new products and innovations in-house. We have a tech scouting unit, but up until 2021, we had not had a formal investment unit or a CVC. So that became our kind of newest way to work with innovators outside of Owens Corning. So a few words on what that looks like for us. I'll also mention that where we are right now, which is approaching 3 years, is the average life expectancy for CVCs. So we're getting to the point where going into the fall, I think the odds of survival and being around for the long term will dramatically increase, at least according to GCV data that they've been collecting. But here you can see our investment themes. I'll start with those. They're adjacencies to the core businesses that you saw on the previous slide. And theme where we've been most active is industrialized construction or off-site modular construction. So we've made several investments there. New materials. We have also been working on a circular economy. We have one in the works that I expect to close in the next few weeks, which will become our 8th portfolio investment. So we'll have a portfolio of 8, one of them in Europe, one in Asia, and the remainder in the United States. And that's the portfolio account, and we, like most others, we have capital set aside for follow-on investments. So total investment count is a bit bigger. In terms of specs, we invest between Series A and Series B. We have done a late seed, and we are open to beyond Series B, but we think those will be more selective. Primary reason being just our kind of how we think about our capabilities and when is the right time for us to deliver a strategic value. Our investments are off the balance sheet, and we stay pretty close to the parent company. There's no formal approval process, but at the end of the day, we invest for strategic reasons. So before we go to diligence and make an investment, we want to be very sure that we are in a position to deliver value other than just the injection of growth capital. No fund investments today, so we do not have any LP positions, but we were very much believe in the need to collaborate with other corporates, other corporate investors, as well as VCs and other folks in the ecosystem. So we spend a lot of time doing that and being part of initiatives such as Impulse Partners. And we see our friends and colleagues from CRH at several platforms, both in US and Europe. And I think the circular economy and things adjacent to asphalt will. I made some notes. So Jorge will have to talk about a couple startups you showed there. Maybe even that the energy one that Frank was interested in as well. So yeah, with that, I think if I were a startup pitching, my ask is that if you see any investment themes, if you're an investor or a corporate that speak to you, we're open to chat. I think this is mostly a Europe and Asia audience, so I'm happy to take those questions. Zinab and Alicia know how to get a hold of me, and then my colleague Jimmy on North America side looks after the portfolio and investments there. So if it's more of a US conversation, I'm happy to make the connections.
Thank you so much, Ilmar, for this very interesting and insightful presentation about your activity. Everyone has learned a lot. So I don't know if some people in the audience have some questions. Let us know. Wait a few seconds. Yeah, another question from Frank.
Yeah, keep going. Ilmar, thanks for your presentation. I'm just curious in your investment thesis, what is adjacent? What did you call it? Adjacent elements or something like that?
Yeah, so these insulation is a nice clean example. We have a range of products that cover the thermal or the temperature range from cryogenic to very hot with just a few gaps in the middle. But for instance, we do not today have a natural or bio-based insulation material in the portfolio. So we are always thinking about which applications and which markets in the world are interested in a organic material or zero or negative carbon product. So things like that.
I think you called it adjacent building element.
Yeah, adjacent materials.
What's it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's what you mean.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, thank you.
Right. Adjacencies to our core business. Which
your
for
core business. Okay,
composites
got it.
could be a
Yep.
fiber.
Yeah, clear. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's kind of also our DNA that we're develop. We create products and we manufacture. So I think we yeah. So anything that's in the brick and mortar real world speaks to us and our capabilities.
A question from Jorge.
Yep. Thanks. How do you engage with the business? I see that we have a lot of similarities. No, at the end, I guess you have to validate most of your investments with the business. So I would like to know more or less how is your relationship with the business.
Yeah, it sounds like a bit easier for us working with 4 divisions and maybe a dozen business units inside. Not as many as you do. But it's been a process that we spent a lot of time in the first 2 years figuring out how to run the communication and triage and develop investment themes that are relevant and speak to the business. So I'd say the main main way we do it is through having well informed people that stay close to our venture investments in each of the divisions. We call those functions strategic marketing, which is a dual strategy and marketing role. And we have partners that are set in the business, but they're very familiar with what we're trying to do through investments and through portfolio work. And they are kind of our eyes and ears and helping us make connections to the right region, to the right unit to run a good evaluation or a diligence process, and then actually get to work post-investment. But yeah, at the end of the day, it takes time. It takes finding really good internal partners.
Great. Thanks again, Ilmar. And hopefully
My pleasure.
All right, so let's get on with our presentations from the startups. I'm very happy to welcome Petri Lasko from Solto Power, which develops technology that captures CO2 and integrates it into an electrolyzer and a synthesis unit where it is converted into fuels or other hydrocarbons. Hi, Petri. Thanks for being with us, and we'll give you the floor. Do you want to share your presentation? Do you want us to share the slides?
Yeah, I can share it. Thanks for the
All right.
invitation. Let's see whether you guys can see my slides.
Yes, perfect.
Yeah, so let me just put on the timer and yeah, nice to be here today. Thanks for the invitation. And I'm Petri Laakso, the CEO at Cleantrch Power, and we want to convert buildings into CO2 capturing machines. And why is that? Well, if you look at on the global scale, buildings are related to 38% of global CO2 emissions related to energy. And here on right you can see how the energy is being used in buildings, and especially the heating, ventilation and air conditioning is consuming a lot of energy. So if you could reduce that even a bit, it would have a dramatic shift on a global scale. And that is what we can do when we capture CO2 away from the building ventilation. It reduces the demand for ventilation volume. And when you reduce ventilation by 50%, you can save half of the ventilation related energy. And that's a big thing. On top of that, when we capture CO2 and provide it for our partners to utilize in concrete production, you actually create negative emissions. And those negative emissions help to reach true net zero in buildings, what is needed in the future. I used to be in the renewables business previously, and there's no such thing as net zero energy. And that's why even though you operate the building fully with renewables, you still need negative emissions to reach the net zero, and we are there to help. And on top of that, when you save energy, you save costs, you avoid emissions, and it really makes the buildings fixing the environment. And does it make an economical sense? Well, it does. Even though our system consumes energy, but on the net level, you save a lot of energy. And for example, this ventilation unit is good for 2,000 square meters of office space. You can save tens of thousands of dollars per year because you don't use so much energy within the building. Avoid CO2 emissions. If there are something like carbon taxes, you avoid those. And green financing might be in the future a big thing. Even a small, a bit less interest rate is going to make a lot of money for the building owner. And here on right you can see example case from Singapore, that when you need to cool the hot and humid air into comfortable and let's say 20 degrees Celsius, it consumes a lot of energy, and since you can reduce a lot of that, you save a lot of energy. And I think something to take away today is that the buildings need to be regenerative in the future, so that the buildings are active protectors of the nature. If you think about the single place in the world where we ventilate a lot of air, those are the buildings. They do it 24/7, 365. And in order to make negative emissions and capture CO2, we need to ventilate the air. And here on top left, we can see legislation in Denmark is probably the heaviest one in the world. And Paris Agreement would be even heavier, but that's not really something that we can achieve today. But anyhow, regeneration is the thing to do. And how do we do the CO2 capture? We put the direct air capture units next to the building ventilation unit. Unfortunately, not yet we can fit all of the buildings, but most of the buildings we can fit. It doesn't need to be exactly next to the building ventilation unit. It can be along the ventilation line. And there are three ways of capturing the CO2. It can be from the intake air of mechanical ventilation, or the recirculated air, or it can be on the exit side of the ventilation, the air exiting the building. But if we capture the CO2 from the air exiting the building, it will not change the insides of the building, and you don't get the energy benefits. But you can get a little bit more CO2 captured than from the intake side. It's possible to capture huge amounts of CO2 if we would make a huge deployment on the buildings on a global scale. And for example, in our case in Vaasa, we retrofitted an existing building with our technology, and we store the CO2 onto a tank, which is outside the building. And it can be emptied every 2 months when it's full of liquid CO2 and transported to close by concrete manufacturing facility. And this way the concrete manufacturer can use a little bit less cement, so the concrete will be greener. And this is the way to create negative emissions. People are going to build a lot of new buildings by 2050, and a lot of concrete is needed. So we think that with our solution, there's a lot of business that we can do. Already by 2030, it should be in the range of $1 billion. If all the net zero targets are wanted to be met. And JLL just announced that there's a lot of unmet demand on net zero technologies, and we are there to help. There are many other companies also doing similar technology what we are doing, but they are mainly focusing on large-scale outdoor CO2 capture. We have a patented technology to operate in buildings, and buildings offer a really high stability environment for our technology. And we can use the low temperature available in buildings and even give it back to the buildings. And it doesn't matter whether we are in Dubai, hot summer, or here in Finland, really cold winter. It's always like plus 20 in the building, so and a clean air. Patented technology, we can use the low temperature heat, create negative carbon credits to buildings, green financing, and maybe the biggest one is the higher rent yield for companies that want to avoid their scope 3 emissions. That's also a big thing in the future, I would say. 6 deployments done, 7th one coming up in Denmark, probably later this year, at least Hungary, Germany, and Brazil coming up, but to be seen. Team has a lot of experience from previous startups and good advisors on the background. Thank you for your time today. I'm open for questions.
Perfect. Thanks a lot, Petri, for your presentation and for presenting us. Sorry, to Saltair Power. Do we have some questions in the audience?
I have a question, Petri. So I see you're more focused on CO2 capturing than utilization, right? I saw the example of using it in concrete plants, but do you actually also focus on the utilization or just the capture?
Yeah, for example, last year we delivered a system for a customer. It's a German company. They have a new factory here in Finland and they utilize it on site. Back in 2021, we had one utilization case in Dubai that we made fuels on site there in the Dubai World Expo. So, but it's always about the customer. What do they need? Do they want to utilize it, or do they want to kind of have it taken away? And we see that the bigger business is there, that we handle this as a service in the future for the building owners, that they don't pay anything more, they spend the savings on our service, and we handle the CO2 for them. So it can be utilization case, or it can be where we handle the CO2 for the customer. But it depends on the case and a customer, how they want to do it.
Thanks. We have a question from Lucas from Ecorbio.
Yeah, thanks, Petri, for the great presentation. I just wanted to check in how the audience members can support you. What do you guys need to keep growing?
Well, of course, money is needed. We just closed the one funding round, next one coming up early next year. Piloting cases is something that we are looking for, even though we have a lot of commercial cases coming up. But pilots in proper places would be super good. That is what we are looking for, because many people don't understand our kind of how do we do it, what are the benefits, and so on. So through pilots we can show that it works also in different countries and different areas.
Thanks. We have a question from Frank from the European Innovation Council. Go ahead, Frank.
Yeah, Petri, thank you for the presentation. Maybe I missed it from your presentation, apologies for this, but what is the business case for your customer? Do you depend on voluntary carbon markets, or is it something else?
Yeah, the business case, for example, the next case that we are doing in Denmark, they want to show the world how to make a net zero building. And in order to have a net zero building, if you want to do it in buildings, in the building, you need to do negative emissions. And the business case for them is that they save on energy costs, and this way they can pay our services that we capture the CO2 in the buildings. That building is net worth is like 110 million euros. And when they get a green financing, they make a lot of money through lower interest rates also. And they get a higher rent from their customer also, so that's another revenue stream. And the carbon credits they will retire, because they will use it as a net calculation in their building. So there's the benefit for our customer in
It's
that,
an interrelated business model with operating the building. Something, yeah.
Yeah, our final business model is that we sell this as a service, not like hardware sales. But we are not yet there, because it needs a lot of capital, and we have a plan to make like 10, 20 pilots first, and then we proceed with a higher kind of a funding to make like 100 units 2026. And this way we go towards the as a service model, because it yields much more money to us, and it's better for the customer because they don't need to take care of anything. We are like the garbage company for the building owner, that we handle it all for them. They will just get the credits and savings.
Okay, thank you.
Brilliant. Well, thanks a lot, Petri, for your presentation. Lucas will now present Ecorbio, which focuses on sustainable thermochemical recycling of bioproducts and biomass waste for biopolyol production. Hi, Lucas. Thank you for being with us from Cyprus. We'll let you either share your screen or let us know if you want us to share ours.
All right, thanks. Yeah, I think I can share my screen. Thanks so much for the kind intro, and also, yeah, happy to follow up with the previous presentations. Excited to be here, and yeah, happy to share a bit about Ecorbio. We're a early stage clean tech company focused on developing technologies to produce more sustainable chemicals and displacing some of those petroleum derivatives in various industries. And the first kind of segment or the first supply chain that we chose to target are industrial producers of polyurethanes. So these, in the context of construction, could be, for example, insulation materials. And at least in the global north, we're definitely seeing a push towards more sustainable materials, lower scope 3 emissions, that kind of thing. But typically, upcoming bio-alternative biochemicals are simply still either too expensive or cannot be scaled to that level that's needed. So essentially what we're doing is we're now producing biopolyols. So this is a key ingredient in producing polyurethane products for the construction and building sectors that can be, later on produced regionally and scaled, that are way cheaper than the bio alternatives and can be sold at the same price as the fossil derivatives, and of course sustainable, offering savings for each ton incorporated. So coming back to the segment, there is a push, there is a need to retain quality, but really improve on the sustainability of the supply chains and the actual production of these polymeric materials. So at pilot scale, where we are right now, we're seeing that even with 20-30% replacement of our product in the conventional synthesis, we're still seeing good results. So that gives us hope that we can push this even further and make sure that in the end the materials are transitioned towards fully bio-based synthesis and production, as previously mentioned. So just to put this in perspective, thermal insulation comes in various different shapes and forms. So, for instance, it could be in the shape of sandwich panels, for erecting industrial buildings, but these could also be various appliances that could be either thermally or acoustically insulated. So, in the northern hemisphere, you can more think of let's say refrigeration equipment, whereas here, for instance, Cyprus, Greece, we're seeing a lot of thermal storage tanks, for instance, for water distribution and those kind of end products. So to develop this technology, we've been taking it from the lab, trying to scale it and run pilot tests. We're doing this R&D here in Cyprus, submitting a patent along the way, and of course, gathering those engineering insights, figuring out those bottlenecks at a ton per day scale, which obviously gives us quite a lot of insight into how we can later on grow and replicate the technology. So this not only helps us to really get a better sense of the production costs at the commercially relevant scale, so to speak, but also of course, the impact of our own production, getting the LCAs, establishing supply chains, that kind of thing. So really trying to look at de-risking. So for us, the impact, of course, avoided CO2 is a key driver. We're looking to accelerate and grow, avoiding essentially more than 100,000 tons of CO2 through replacement of these chemicals to start off, generating, of course, a healthy revenue so that we can reinvest and explore other chemical pathways where, decarbonization is still quite tricky. And of course, kind of helping to grow that bio market share, which is currently at 10%, but accelerating and taking over in key regions across the globe. But of course, none of that is possible without a team. We're still quite small and young, but growing quite happily. Besides myself and my co-founder Panayotis, who brings the experience from the deep tech entrepreneurial side, we have Electra, who of course helps us with the compliance, the accounting and finances. Rosalia, who leads our projects, quality control and labs. Savas, who's the master of controls and automation, ensuring that we know what's happening at the pilot scale and can really optimize. And of course, Arestis, our senior industrial engineer, who, as we call it, converts the challenges on the site into opportunities. So our roadmap right now looks like this. This year is focused on finding the end product formulations, so the specific niche applications that are really promising, where we can maximize the replacement, where we can maximize the impact for the industry. So this we're mainly doing through various European cascade projects. So these are, collaborations with leading research centers in Europe, that take our materials and co-develop end product formulations, providing those external testing results and really giving us an insight into how far we can push it and which is the next kind of direction for product quality improvement. Also, of course, talking with local and regional potential end users. So these are, again, industrial polyurethane producers that typically source petroleum or food competitive high ILUC biopolyols currently that are, as mentioned, also quite expensive typically. So that's this year. Late next year, we want to enter this local market to really test the waters and establish that product market fit. For this, we're still closing a small pre-seed seed round that's kind of topping up our non-dilutive grant R&D funds. To upgrade the facility towards a, let's say, R&D facility with production capability. So, low market volume, so like 500 tons or so per year. And then later this year, we're applying for the EIC accelerator, so for blended financing, and that will go towards establishing a commercial line, a modular line that we can demonstrate to potential customers or partners. So here we're talking about integration into existing facilities, really capitalizing on industrial symbiosis, be it energy, material stream integration, and retrofitting of classical biomass factories. So yeah, if any of that sounds interesting, again, we're very much into developing those formulations. We'd be happy to hear your requirements as an end user, or of course, talk about opportunities to tackle this industry together. So thank you so much. And yeah, please, if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Thank you very much, Lucas, for this very interesting presentation of Ecorbio. Do we have some questions from the audience? Again, if you want just to activate your microphone like Imar did, or type them down on the chat.
Yeah, Lucas, a fellow insulation manufacturer here. Regarding the aspiration, so do you want to be an insulation manufacturer and in the business of selling and bringing to market an insulation product, or do you see the Ecorbio being a technology developer and somebody else does the manufacturing and sales?
Yeah, so we don't want to be producing foam downstream. We want to start off by supplying the chemicals, so the ingredient for the producer, perhaps coming up with some formulations, co-developing formulations with the producers. But in the end, it will be about technology. So setting up, scaling of this upcycling capability. So this kind of like a shifting business plan.
Yeah, but I guess part of the shift is early on, it's kind of inevitable. The early pilots, you're going to have to be going all the way. And then once you make it far enough, you can let somebody else worry about manufacturing. And
yeah, definitely. And that's why it's key for us to connect with the people with you, downstream, who know what they're doing, who know the requirements and know where the industry is going. Yeah, but you're right.
Clear.
Thanks. Any other questions? Okay.
Happy to follow up as well. I think you'll have my contact details, right, Zina?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You'll have Lucas'
Excellent.
contact plus his pitch deck. So you'll be able to reach out at any time, and we'll be more than happy to also make the connection if needs be. Well, thanks again, Lucas. Next, Boontonk from Hydroleap will introduce us to their wastewater treatment solutions using electrochemical technologies, providing chemical-free and high-performance water treatment options. Hi, Boontonk. Thank you for being with us from Singapore, right? We'll let you share your screen if you want to, or we can share it for you if you prefer. We cannot hear you. Well, I cannot hear you. I see that your mic is on, so. Maybe with the headphones, there's an issue. I'll give you 1 second. If not, we'll let Linus present, and then we'll let you see. Okay. Yeah, I think it was the headphones.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, it's good.
Okay, sorry about that. Okay, I share my screen.
Yes, perfect. Thank you.
Okay, can you see?
Perfectly.
Okay, my name is Bontong. I'm from Hydraulic Private Limited. Hydraulic aim to enable sustainable wastewater treatment with innovative technology and solution. Hydraulic technology is a superior electrochemical solution that has been more than 7 years of R&D. We have helped companies to reduce their footprint and also the energy consumption. With more than 12 commercial projects with the world-class customer, our technology solution and also the product market fit has been validated. So we are also expanding into new geographical and vertical, including regions like Indonesia, the Philippines, and Thailand. Our objective is to reduce the water waste, treatment costs, and also the downtime across the industry. We have identified 3 main key markets. First one will be the industrial wastewater. Second, the cooling tower water and also desalination. Based on the current pain point that include the treatment constraint and also the high operating costs, environmental harm, and also low water and energy efficiency, and also very high foulant rate and energy consumption. So customers are looking for solutions that offer higher efficiency and also reliability, and also lower operating expenses and sustainability. We offer 2 main proprietary products under electrochemical technology. We can be integrated into the new or existing treatment plant. On the left side, you can see here is the Nishin plant in Philippines. Our electro calculation technology, the EC technology in the wastewater system can achieve more than over 90% removal of suspended solid, oil and grease, and also phosphate at only a very small power consumption of only 0.8 kilowatt hour per meter cube. On the right hand side, you can see that one is the AWS, Amazon Web Services data center. Our electro oxidation system in the cooling tower sideline can save 70 to 80% on the water blowdown and also chemical at also a very low power consumption of only 0.2 kilowatt hour per meter cube. Based on this is the recent challenge statement. We attended the Green Tech GTA 2014 in Singapore. So based on the challenge statement from the UOB, Ngee Polytechnic, also Marina Bay Sands, okay, all these 3 can be solved by our hydraulic electro oxidation system technology. For the last one, the TRF, that one will be the challenges. This can be addressed by our hydraulic electro calculation technology. Our business model include sales and source leasing option with the maintenance and also servicing included. We work through partnerships such as in Singapore, we work with the system integrator IXT. In Philippines, we work with our partner BioCare to penetrate into direct market. So from here, you can see Hydraulic is a local and established water treatment company backed by government and also private venture capitalists such as PUB Wastewater. We cooperate with world-class partner and also reputed authority. Our system has been tested and validated by several organizations and clients. One of our key achievements include AWS winning the Singapore Watermark Award 2024 from the PUB. With our hydraulic technology, AW continues to push the boundary of water use efficiency and sustainability. Hydraulic was found in December 2016. Our CEO, founder Dr. Mo Ho, a PhD in environmental engineering from NUS, and also have more than 10 over year experience in water and wastewater treatment technology. Our head of R&D, Dr. Lashmi, had over 15 years of academic experience in electrochemistry and also wastewater treatment, and she leads the innovation and also product development. Our team consists of 30 dedicated staff members. Our team is our strength, and we comprise of the expert in R&D, operation, and also engineering. We are dedicated to pushing the boundary of what possible in the wastewater treatment. Looking ahead, we are focused on scaling our technology to a new market, enhancing our product offering, and also driving industrial-wide adoption of sustainable practices. To realize our vision of the world where wastewater treatment is both efficient and eco-friendly, we are seeking the strategic funding. This will enable us to accelerate our R&D effort, expand our market reach, and also further innovate our solution to meet the global growing demand. We also want to invite you guys to really join our journey to revitalize the wastewater treatment and also meet the lasting impact on our planet. And thank you everybody for your time today. Hydraulic is not just a company, we are also a movement towards a sustainable future. We look forward to potential cooperation and also partnership that can help us to achieve our goal and also drive the meaningful change in the industry. Thank you guys.
Thank you guys. I think I have an echo. Okay. All right. Sorry for that. Thank you so much, Bunzak, for your presentation. It was really interesting. Do we have some questions in the audience? Once again, we'll be able to send your contacts to the audience. So if anyone wants to reach out afterwards, we'll be happy to do the connection.
Yeah, there's something.
All right. Well, let me thank you again, and finally let me introduce you to Linus Wahom, who will be presenting us ManPro, which aims to prevent cost overruns in construction projects by offering real-time tracking of materials and labor, thereby enhancing efficiency in construction project management. Hi Linus, thanks for being with us. Let us know if you want to share your screen or if you want us to share your slides.
I will share my screen. Thank you very much. I hope you can hear me clearly.
Yes, perfectly. Thank you.
Can you see my screen?
Not yet. I think it's coming. Yeah. Not full screen, but yes, we can see it.
Is it full screen now? All right, thank you very much. My name is Linus Wahome, founder and CEO of ManPro, based off Nairobi in Kenya. So ManPro is a localized and easy to use all-in-one construction cost control platform. And the problem that we seek to solve is to help general contractors who very frequently experience budget overruns due to operational efficiencies address that challenge. So oftentimes we have seen that GCs experience budget overruns because most of the time their data is fragmented across different digital tools. We find that many of them have now turned WhatsApp into a project management tool. Of course, they use Excel, MS Project, emails, and data is all over the place, which makes reconciliations of budget estimates against actual costs, a very tedious process. So with the current manual processes, we find that material theft, wastage, and over procurement of materials happens very often, and it is also caught very late in the day, so that the decisions are. It's also very difficult
Linus,
for
sorry,
these GCs to be
Linus,
able to
I'm sorry to
discover
interrupt.
or
Linus,
detect ghost. Yeah.
yeah, sorry to interrupt. I think we'll share your screen because I think you have some connection problems.
Sorry?
We'll be sharing your screen if it's okay with you because I think there's some lag in your slides. So if it's okay with you, we'll share them and we'll let
Please go
you
ahead.
make. Yeah, okay. I think you have also some lag in internet problems, but let us share it. It will be okay. Okay, can you see the screen?
It's coming on, not yet.
Okay, I think you're up for your second or third slide. Let me know.
All right, yes, thank you. This is slide 2 on who we are. So just to take that again, as I'd mentioned that we provide a localized and easy to use all-in-one construction cost control platform. Next slide, please. And the problem that we are solving is mostly for general contractors who experience budget overruns due to operational inefficiencies. As I mentioned earlier, a lot of data is scattered across different digital tools, whether it's WhatsApp, Excel, MS Project, of course, pen and paper, which makes reconciliation of budget estimates against actual expenses in construction projects a very manual process. Consequently, material theft, wastage, and overprocurement is always caught late, and the decisions that are made are. It also becomes very difficult to detect ghost workers or idle labor in construction projects with the current manual processes. The net effect is that GCs lose up to 20% of their profit margins just out of operational inefficiencies. Next slide. So for example, one of the contractors that we dealt with had a project of building 256 apartments. That is 4 blocks with 84 apartments in each block, valued at $20 million. It was a full contract, meaning that they were providing materials and labor. And at the end of phase 1, when they did their reconciliation, they discovered that they had used 3,144 extra bags of cement because when plaster was done, it was double the thickness. Now, at that point, the cost of a bag of cement was $7, and the contractor ended up spending $22,000 extra. Similarly, when they looked at labor, they discovered that there was an extra $1,000 on their weekly wage bill as a result of 10 ghost workers in each day being paid $10,000. So in a month, that amounted to $21,000. And within the 18 months period, which was the period of that project, they ended up losing $378,000. Of course, there were many cost factors that were outside the control of the contractor, like material increases, price increase. But the total cost overruns due to operational inefficiencies for this specific phase was $400,000, which was the project value of that phase. Next slide. So what happens is we have seen that contractors easily lose, for this kind of project, they will easily lose $1 million due to manual reconciliations that lead to overprocurement of materials and their inefficient processes that then lead to project delays and inefficient labor allocations that ensure that there is idle labor on site. Next slide, please. So the solution that we are providing these GCs is real-time cost control, first by providing site supervisors with a mobile app that connects the site to the office on a real-time basis and eliminates the need for paper records, the need to do numerous trips between site and office, and of course, the net effect there is to reduce carbon emissions. We also provide them a cloud-based solution platform that unifies data across different projects, making it possible to get real-time reconciliations of budget estimates against actual project expenses. And management then is able to access real-time reports, whether through the web platform or through the app. And most importantly, they get automated alerts and notifications of potential cost overruns so that they can take proactive actions as compared to the current scenario where it's all reactive. Next slide. So in summary, our value proposition to general contractors is that ManPro will reduce their revenue leakage by 90% by providing them real-time cost control per project, per milestone, through real-time expense tracking, material control, and productivity management. Next slide. In terms of the opportunity, the construction industry in Africa is about $500 billion, and it is growing at a cumulative annual growth rate of about 7.5%. Within the East African market, you are looking at about $60 billion. And within that space, the building automation market is $2 billion and growing. As per a Deloitte report that was recently released, that showed that post-pandemic, one of the key trends is the integration of construction management solutions and accounting software in construction projects. Our immediate addressable market is about $200 million, which is just about 10% of the building automation market. Next slide. As alluded to earlier, our primary our primary customer would be a general contractor, a mid-tier general contractor, running 2 to 3 simultaneous projects at a time of about $500,000 each. He has a lean team of about 3 to 15 staff members, and there are 1 or 2 key decision makers. Now, for this kind of GC, we've seen that their main pain points are the fact that their operating margins are very thin due to the high competition in the which is made worse by their inefficient internal cost control processes. Now, their lean team spends 40% of their time doing manual reconciliations and manual tasks instead of using that time to get new business, fill in new BQs, and look after the quality of projects, of ongoing projects, because these contractors are under high pressure to create a reputation, a good reputation, through timely delivery of quality projects. So for anyone who is able to address these pain points for them, their willingness to pay is very high. And the opportunity for us as ManPro is to be able to make our solution core to their business so that the lifetime value is high, and we're able also to generate referrals through high net promoter scores. Next slide. So our traction so far, as much as we are still at seed stage, is that we've been able to onboard 3 paying customers who have fully migrated from manual processes to ManPro. And that's a big deal because many of them are very rigid to adopting technology and switching to digital processes. The other thing we have seen is there's high daily active usage of our platform, with 1 million transactions having been processed in our platform so far. We have 25 projects currently being managed within ManPro. And although we have a low MRR of $1,000, we are looking to grow in the next 3 years to the East and West African region. That is East Africa and Nigeria, Ghana, and Zambia. Our focus to date has been on achieving product market fit, which we have been able to achieve. Next slide. So what sets us apart, I think, is the level of localization for our solution. There are many solutions out there, but ManPro is very localized and customized to the construction industry in Africa. Also, the ease of use of our platform, given that you have site supervisors who are not digitally savvy, being able to work with this kind of app. Affordability is a big thing, as well as real-time resource tracking, control of cost, and reporting. All of the solutions, all of the competitors that you currently have don't have all these things together, especially the free solutions, free digital tools that are being used today, like Excel or MS Project or WhatsApp for that matter. So this is really what makes us different. Next slide. Next slide, please. So our business model is that is a value-based subscription of $150 per module per month, and our platform has 3 core modules for cost and profit tracking, procurement and material management, as well as work planning and productivity management. Other revenue sources that we are looking to activate going forward is commissions from material and labor suppliers, transaction fees from mobile money payments, as well as fees from customization requests from different clients. Next slide. So in the team is myself, James, who is our CTO, and Job, who is a seasoned quantity surveyor. We also backed up by a board that is made up of seasoned professionals in the construction and real estate space. Next slide. So at this point, we are looking to raise $100,000 in the form of a convertible note for a runway of 12 months. The bulk of these funds will be used for business development, and 30% of the funds will go into product development and working capital. We're also keen to get strategic partners, especially those who are looking to enter the African markets. You can go to the next slide. I think that's the last slide. Yeah, so as you read these testimonials, I want to say thank you for the time and open to any question.
Thank you so much, Linus. It was really interesting, especially for the GCs that we are working with, which have some sites in Africa. So hopefully there's some interest rate there. If there's some questions, we have like 15-30 seconds before concluding our session. At any case, we'll be sending, of course, your contacts